welcome to our YouTube channel. The following video is part of our weekly masterclass led by industry experts who will guide you through the latest tech trends and skills. Don't forget to check the link to more such videos in the description.
2024 World Cup T20, right? And I think it's only 2024, as you can see. Team 1, which is one of the teams that is playing, Team 2, Team 1 and 2, and then date. When was this match played? And then match number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Venue. Where was this match played? City. Which city was this match played in? Who won the toss? Right? Then we have toss decision, field, bat, whatever, right? Whether they chose to, whoever won the toss, let's say India won the toss here, did they choose to field or did they choose to bat? Then player of the match, Bumrah was the player in this case, for example. Who was the umpire? I don't need this information, but yeah, we get that. This data is, by the way, coming from CricBuzz. But this data set link, if you're asking, so that is CricBuzz. I got this data from a website called CricBuzz, right? But I'll share it later, maybe, the data set. Okay. So let's just follow this, right? I think you may not be able to do it with me. For example, see, there are some blanks also. There are some no results also. And there are some Pakistans also, but okay, that is fine. Of course, India won all the matches. So that winner runs, what were the number of runs scored by the winner? And then winner wickets, how many wickets did the winner take, and match type. Now, this is the data set, right? I just wanted to walk you through the data set so that you get an idea of the kind of data that we'll be working with today, right? And that will give you a sense of the kinds of graphs, charts that we intend to present or that we intend to build today, right? So that's the intent here. Very quickly, let's jump to, toss winner is showing country, right? Which country won the toss? That is fine, right? Someone had this question, why is toss winner showing the country? But obviously, if you see, right, the toss winner, which country won the toss? So that's where this is coming from. Coming to the next part, right? Now, step 1 is done. We've explored the data. We've understood how the data set looks like. Just go to your Microsoft Store, download the app, or go online, Power BI desktop, and you will find it, right? I hope you're able to see the Power BI desktop. Awesome. All right. Now, if you see, right, what do we intend to do here? I intend to, first of all, bring that data or import that data into Power BI. So I'll go to import data from Excel, right? And if I click on this, let me just quickly stop sharing because this will present my all the folders and everything. Already have that folder open. So I'll just walk you through the process also here. So import data from Excel, right? I think you're able to see this also. I select this table matches, right? This data set that I just showed you, right? That was matches into Power BI. Now, Excel is a data source for me. I am importing something from Excel into Power BI, right? That's what I'm doing here. Now, Power BI provides you with a bunch of transformation options also. Like you can transform data, you can add columns, you can handle duplicates, you can handle errors, you can handle, blanks, for example. You can add column, you can manipulate columns, you can change values, you can, combine columns, you can find aggregate marks from individual marks, bunch of things you can do in transform data. So Power BI also helps you with cleaning and manipulation of data. People think that Power BI is only a visualization tool. And I also used to think that way before I really learned Power BI. Power BI helps you to also transform your data, manipulate the data, because we want the data to be more structured. We want the data to be more usable or consumable or digestible, right? These are the two benefits, obviously, apart from the visualization benefits that Power BI provides. So now let's load the data. I clicked on load. Now what will happen? See, it is loading this data. I hope you're able to see this. Yeah, this is loading the data. And all the rows and columns that you saw from the matches table, that is being brought into Power BI. right? And yeah, let's just wait for this to happen. I think the data is loaded. Perfect. Let's just go to matches. See, this is the table I have, matches. All the columns that you saw, right? City, rate, match number, referee, match type. What I want to do first is, and I always start with this. First thing, apply the filters or identify which filters you may want to use. So this is called a slicer, right? In Power BI, we call filters slicers. So I click on this gets added here, right? This is a slicer. I want slicer by date, right? So I will drag date to the field. If you see here, right, this filter gets created, this slicer gets created, it is still getting created, but it will help me slice and dice data or filter data. See this? I'll increase the size because some people might be attending this on a smaller screen. So I'll just increase the size of this. I'll just, let's see, where is the, all right, okay, this, yeah. And maybe I'll just also increase, I'll add a shadow, I'll add a visual border so that people can easily see this. Like I want to highlight this filter. And for the values, I also want to increase the size. Maybe I'll make the size to 13. Now I think they are more visible, maybe 15. Right. And also the header, I want to increase the size to about 15. Super. Now this looks better. This is a slicer, right? Now let me start with a bang. Let me start with the best graph that I have, and that is this map here. I want to understand how many runs were stored or was actually scored in each venue, in each city. How many runs were scored in each city? And whenever I do data analytics, right, I always start with a question. If you don't know the question, you will not get the answer, obviously. You need to know what you need to find from the data, what you are trying to find from the data. You should know. So let's just find that. What's the question? How many runs were scored in each city? So I will add city to the location. See, we already have a beautiful chart here. Texas, Florida. You can see these blue circles, right? Blue bubbles. Now, size of the bubble, I want to see the number of runs scored, the total number of runs scored in that venue. That should be the size of the bubble. How can I do that? So if you see, right, the winner runs we have, how many runs were scored by each winner? I want to add this to the size of the bubble, and that is actually here, bubble size. So I want to add winner runs to bubble size. See, beautiful. How many runs were scored in each venue? That got added here. Total number of runs. If I want average, now this is sum of winner runs, right? If I want average, I can right click here and you get these options: sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, standard deviation, variance, median. I will go to average. I want to see what's the average number of runs scored in each of these venues, right? These are the average runs. Now let's keep this aside. This is one part of the analysis, right? This will help me maybe tell a story. So in data analytics, what we do is we use charts and graphs to tell stories, right? That's essentially what we do in data analytics. So data analytics typically is a 6-step process, right? And I quickly want to walk you through those 6 steps, right? What are the 6 steps that each data analyst as part of his or her job role does, right? So maybe I'll just quickly walk you through the 6 steps. I'll maybe insert a text box here just to tell you. Let's write. So first step is data fetching, right? Or data collection, let's say we collect data. Second step is after we collect data from multiple sources, online, offline, we actually clean the data, right? We ensure that after we fetch the data, right, we clean it and make it more structured, make it more or manipulate the data so that it is more consumable for the data analyst and the data scientist. Next, I do data pre-processing. or let's say data processing, which means that again, it is part of okay, let me club these: data cleaning and processing, which means that manipulation, transformation of data. Next, I do exploratory data analysis, and this is where we actually explore how the data looks like, right? What are the trends in the data? What is the insight I want to deliver from the data, right? Or what is the trend I want to see in the data? Um, does the data want to tell me a message, right? That's what we explore here. Is there a trend? Is there a learning from the data? Next step, and maybe we can uh, just add bullet points. Next step is you actually build those beautiful charts and graphs that we are just about to build today. You do data visualization, right? Whatever you've learned from the data, you want to convey it very beautifully through charts and graphs, right? That is data visualization. For me, that's the most interesting step, frankly. Next, we actually go ahead and tell stories. So I call this data storytelling, which means through the charts and graphs you've created in step 4, through the charts and graphs we've created in step 4, right? We want to tell a story, and from that story, we want to make business decisions, right? And hence create impact. So help the company solve business problems. So these are the 6 steps we typically, do in data analytics. And maybe, I'll just move this to page 2 so that our analysis, we, there's no problem in the analysis space we need. So yeah. So these are the 6 steps of data analytics. Coming back very quickly, let's come back and maybe let's add one more chart that everyone wants to see. And maybe, I'll invite ideas also at this point. Maybe if you want to add some, if you want me to display a particular chart or create a particular chart, would be happy to do that as well. Right now I want to understand for the winner, right? What was the average number of runs scored? So I'll create a line chart here, right? This is a line chart. What is the average number of runs scored per winner? So I will write average of winner runs. And I'll add country, actually the team basically, winning team to the x-axis, and that is this winner. Let's see this. So average of winner runs by winner, which means West Indies, let's say, this much average runs, Sri Lanka this much average runs, and so on. Average number of runs scored by the winner. Next, average wickets also I want to see in this one only. Average number of wickets taken by the winning team. So winner here is winning team. So this gives me a chart here, right? India, for example, scored less runs than the other ones, right? In terms of winning, like the winning runs. So that ways, think this is a chart that is helpful for us. Let's keep this aside. And now let's focus on one more chart that we want to create. I want to understand how did, let's say, toss affect chances, right? So let me plot a column chart now. On the x-axis, I want to, let's say, add the winner, right? X-axis, I want to add the winner who won the match, and in how many cases that person actually, let's say, there was the toss, that person was, or that team was also the toss winner, right? So India, when it won the match, right, in somehow in 8 cases it was the toss winner. Okay, so this toss winner needs to be, let's just see what the toss winner is. This is, yeah, so toss winner basically has the name of the country, right? So name of the country in case of India and South Africa is this. So India won the toss, let's say, in this many cases. Let me just add this here, right? Or let me just, okay, let me make this a bit simple, right? Let me not complicate things. Let's just add x on the x-axis. Let's just add the toss winner. right? And on the y-axis, let's just add how many matches that team won the toss. So count of matches. For example, England won the toss in 6 matches, right? England won the toss in 6 matches. And what was the decision of the toss? That we can add in legend. So England in all the cases chose to field. India won the toss in 4 cases, and in 2 cases, it actually India won the toss in 4 cases. In 2 cases, it chose to bat, and two it chose to field. Right. So that is another learning for me. And very quickly, now what I want to do is I want to just create one chart before I pause for a moment. I want to create a pie chart to understand who was the man of the match. Like how many times each person was the man of the match. For example, Kohli would have been, let's say, man of the match 2-3 times probably. So player of the, actually not in this World Cup, but maybe Rohit Sharma. So let's just add player of the match here. And in the legend, in the values, I want to add how many matches this person. So count of matches for which this person won the man of the match. So for example, Zampa 2 times, then Quinton de Kock, Stoinis, and Bumrah also won the match, man of the match 2 times, and so on and so forth. Right. So this graph tells me man of the match. Now I hope you realize the power of Power BI, right? Pun intended, but Power BI is very, very powerful. It is something that is like it is a tool that is really powerful and can enable you to learn or derive such insights from the data that no other tool can, maybe, right? So that is the kind of power it has. Um, and I benefited a lot by learning Power BI, right? So upskilling in Power BI was probably one of the best decisions I ever took, right? It was super helpful for me, and a lot of things became easy for me. My work at, let's say, my last company Udan became easy and fast. I was more efficient, right? Effectively I was just returning 10x return, right? I'd become 10x more efficient, 10x more fast. So Power BI is that kind of a tool. And based on my experience, I say this, upskilling and having a very solid roadmap towards upskilling is extremely important. And people who are in data analytics or who are not in data analytics, it is very important for you to upskill and have a solid roadmap, to make that career transition or to make that career improvement. So to streamline your path, right, and to receive expert guidance, to understand what the industry is expecting, I highly recommend you to invest in a program that has all these things, right? Which means it has structured curriculum, it has a solid roadmap for you which you can follow. It has expert guidance, it has, let's say, mock interviews, 24/7 doubt clearance, all this. If you are able to let's say enroll in this kind of a program, if you really want to get into data analytics, I think instead of beating around the bush, right, it is important for you to realize that these programs can really help you across the finish line, right? Cross the finish line. So I definitely recommend this, right? And I'm a mentor here for the data analytics program in Coding Ninjas, and I know that the data analytics bootcamp at Coding Ninjas is one of the best in the industry. We have all this in the program, right? So people who want to, let's say, upskill, people who want to switch to data analytics and data science, or who are already in the field but they want to improve, right? I definitely recommend you to go for the Coding Ninjas Data Analytics Job Bootcamp, right? The job bootcamp basically. And for the same, I'm hosting an Ask Me Anything session tomorrow at 2 p.m. Right? I myself will be there. I will be hosting it, and I will resolve all your doubts around the program. So now let's see a bunch of more things, right? We've talked about city. We've not really considered the date in any of our analysis. Can I also look at the date here in terms of how did date affect, let's say, uh, maybe toss or let's say winner runs. Right? Let me just create another line chart for date on the x-axis, right? And this is hierarchy. This is a date hierarchy that automatically gets created here in Power BI. And I want to see on the y-axis how many runs did the winner score on each date, right? So I will remove this year because all the years are 2024. I will remove quarter also. I will remove month also. I just want to see day, right? Day of that month. Uh, so across these days, right? Which day was the most number of runs scored? Maybe we can take the average. I don't want to see the sum. So on average, third of the month was the day when maximum number of runs were actually scored, right? And let's also see the wickets, right? What's the number of wickets that the winner got on those days? Okay. So it's there. Instead of this, right? Instead of adding on the same y-axis, can I add this on a secondary y-axis? I'll just push this here, secondary y-axis. See, now on the right side is winner wickets and on the left side is winner runs. Right? So far, so good. Now what I want to do is I want to just arrange things a bit. So let me just do that like this and let me just arrange things a bit. Next, I want to add a bunch of more filters. Right? I want to see these trends, let's say just for India. I want to add a country filter. I want to add a country filter. So I will add a slicer here. Slicer. This is called a slicer. And I want to add the team, basically. Right? Team one. Okay, I can add team one or team two, but let me just add, the cases where team one is India. So I can just select this, right? Let me just structure things a bit here. All right. So team one, India can be in team two also. So ideally, we should have a combination of team one and team two, right? But it's okay for now. This is there, and then what we need to do is, I want to actually add a card. What is a card? Card is just data, right? It will just display data. So I want to see the sum of the runs scored by the winner. That's the first thing, right? Sum of winner runs. And I want to see, let's say, sum of winner wickets also. So another card I will add here where I will simply put winner wickets, right? Okay, let's see. Instead of, let me just add the winning team instead of this. Yeah. So total runs scored by India overall was 1006 because it won all the matches. Total number of wickets was 154. Right? Not sure how this is so high, but okay. This is what the data is telling us. We may have the data itself may have some anomalies. All of that may be there, but okay. So I'm just telling you how to create these charts. Now I think we are done with the creation of all the charts. Now let's make the dashboard more beautiful. And that's where Power BI does a very good job. Very, very good job, right? Lots of effects, lots of visual, like making it visually appealing, lot of extra features for that. So let me just arrange things a bit. And all right. Now I always start with this. I always start with, let's say, adding borders. So I go here to the format visual pane and I go to general. In the effects, I have visual border. Right, in the effects, I have visual border. So I'll add a border for these. I will also add, let's say, a shadow for some of these. So I'm adding a border, at least I need a border for all of them. Maybe at a later point, I will add colors also for each of these charts. Right now, let me add colors also. So I can add this color. Let's say this can be this color. Now I want to make my dashboard very, very colorful. So I will add bunch of different colors here. All right. Yes. And for the cards, I want to use the same color and that color can be blue, right? And maybe here I can change this again to this color. I can reduce the transparency so that it is not very, very dark, right? Maybe this. And finally, I think I can also change the color of this one, right? Maybe let's just decrease the transparency here. Any other color suggestions? Maybe we can use a red kind of a color, but we can decrease the transparency a bit. Okay, this looks okay. Let's just try something else here. All right, this looks fine for now. Now this is basically a dashboard that we've created for analyzing trends around the World Cup 2024 data, right? And this dashboard conveys a lot of information if you were to look at it very closely, right? Conveys a lot of very valuable information, and this can be used for creating a story, right? You can create a story out of this. If you see, if I were to present, see now it is looking good. So this kind of power is provided to you by tools like Power BI and Tableau. Power BI in particular is used very widely across the world, and also because it comes from Microsoft, right? There's a lot of support, Microsoft support, and there's a lot of integration with other tools. For example, you can directly, let's say, use Power BI visuals in PowerPoint, right? And you can link it with Excel. You can do a bunch of stuff. So that is a visual. I can add pages. These pages are like chapters to my story, right? This is like a book. Every book tells a story, right? Every book tells a story. And in every book, you can have chapters. So these pages in Power BI are like chapters in your book, right? In your story. So so Power BI is the perfect tool for data storytelling. All right. Okay. So I think broadly, that's that gives me some idea of the kinds of trends I want to see from the World Cup data, right? This I will just read each of these charts after this, and maybe I can learn something from it. For example, from this chart, right? I learned that this city, Providence, um, has the highest number of average runs. So maybe it's a high scoring pitch. But let's say this city is a very low scoring pitch. New York, right? Is a scoring pitch, maybe. And then let's see West Indies here. Uh, it scored whenever it won the match, it scored the highest number of runs, right? Which means that whenever West Indies won the match, it scored very high number of runs as compared to other teams winning the matches. For example, India winning the match did not score a high total, which is why we may be tense, or we may think that okay, India has not scored very highly, or India has not scored much. Maybe it will win. Maybe it may not win the match actually. It may be chasing the total also. So that can be another scenario. Next, let's learn from this one. England won the toss in let's say 5, 6 times, and it chose to field in all those 6 times. Right? India won the toss 4 times, chose to bat 2 times, chose to field 2 times. And then we have this chart. Then we have this chart. For example, if I select India here, all the data across the board will get filtered for India. Right? Everything will dynamically change for India. Right? Okay. So that's there. I think just gives us an idea of the kinds of trends and kinds of learnings that Power BI can generate, right? And at this point, we are on step 5. We are telling stories from the data. We are deriving insights from the data set through visualizations, and we are conveying those insights to the stakeholders through data storytelling, right? Through conveying a message or through telling a story. And we tell the story to our managers, business team leaders, CEO, right? To all the stakeholders who are involved in the project, we tell the story to them. Right. So that is about Power BI. This, I think, again, this will make hopefully many of you interested. This will interest a lot of you, and you will next go on to try this at your in your place, right? You will go back and try building a similar kind of dashboard, and let's see what you come up with. If you post this on LinkedIn, do tag me. If you create similar kind of dashboard, definitely tag me. Would be happy to see what you've done. Maybe I can quickly share if you want. I can just, because I see a few messages in the chat around this. So I'll just share my LinkedIn also if you want to tag whenever you create a dashboard. I also remember someone was asking for this for my YouTube. I think maybe if you want, you can also use this link. So I've pasted both links here, and yeah, I think they are in the chat. Yes. So this data is coming from Crick Buzz, and it is I got this from a Kaggle link. So this I've shared the link with you. This is T20 data, and maybe I'll write today's date. I save this. Then it asks me which workspace do you want to publish, right, in your organization workspaces. So all of that you can do, right? Should not be a problem here. Okay. So I've created a workspace, my workspace. I select it, and yeah, it is done already. See, it is getting published. Super. Okay. Uh, can we add these charts to Excel? In Excel also you have a bunch of charts, but no, this directly you cannot add to Excel, right? There's no way to directly, let's say, paste this chart on Excel as such or reproduce this. You'll have to create from scratch only on Excel. Which chart to use for categorical data?
Thank you everyone for watching. If you found this helpful, check out the link in the description for more such masterclasses.